Hi, and welcome to the Church Builder Podcast with Pastor Dale O'Shields, here with Jody, Earley, and my name is Steve Rivera. We're part of the team here at Church of the Redeemer, and today we have Pastor Dale interviewing him, and our topic today is team building. Pastor Dale, Jody, welcome to this episode.
So great to be here.
It is good to be here, and it's a great topic today, team building, something I think all of us can benefit to talk about, learn about, and grow in.
Yes, sir. We had a lot of people, obviously, that are listening that are either in ministry at a volunteer level or a staff level, or you're either senior pastors. And team building is a big part of doing church, building the church, right?
Absolutely. Church is a team. It's not something that one person does by themselves. We do it together. And so I think it's pretty valuable to learn how to do that together and how to lead people forward and understanding that and being a part of a team.
Yeah, and I think it's something that we all in ministry think about all the time, right? We're in ministry, we all want people to be used to their full capacity. As we build the church, we also build people. We're not here just to build big buildings and big churches. We're here to build big people, right?
That's right. The team building is something, even not just even a ministry, but even maybe people are listening that are leading in some type of organization, or either you're leading or also yourself being a team player. I think we're probably always in that role of both leading and following.
Yeah.
Pastor Dale, maybe to start off is to talk about some, on the team player side of things, maybe a little bit of what are some characteristics that we should develop as team players, and maybe even helping leaders to look for in potential team players.
I think it's been said that any organization, when you're either hiring someone or bringing someone on a team, you look for at least three characteristics. Are they humble? Are they hungry? And are they smart? And so that means if people are looking for people who are hungry, humble, and smart, that it would be pretty wise for us to be humble, hungry, and smart, okay? Mm-hmm. And so those three words, they relate to humility. You can't be a part of a team if it's about you, okay? Because you can't work with the team if you're about accomplishing your agenda, your mission. And so humility is not really about underestimating the value of who you are. It's about realizing I'm just one part of this and coming with an attitude of teachability and growth and development in our mindset. So there's hunger. Hunger is also the capacity to learn. It's that ability to say, you know what, I don't know everything. This is connected as well with humility. And so a good team member is humble, they're hungry, they're willing to receive feedback in their life, and they're willing to realize how they can learn things from other people around them. And then they're smart. They know how to work with people. They've learned people skills. They have what's often referred to as emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is really knowing how to interface with people in a way that, if you will, rubs people the right way rather than the wrong way, that cares about, communicates care and connection with one another. And so I think to be a good team member, those things are vital. And again, I think the concept of that comes from the business world, but obviously it really goes back to the Bible. Jesus said, if you want to be great in the kingdom, learn to be the servant of all. And so servanthood really is the underlying attitude that I think makes a great team player.
Great answers to that question. And actually, it makes me think about many years ago when I became part of the church here and going through our membership class. One of the lessons that you taught, Pastor Dale, there, that you mentioned 4 words that have really stuck with me from the very beginning. And I think they're very simple, but they're very profound and very impactful. Those 4 words were faithful, available, teachable, and enthusiastic. And they kind of go along with those 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Faithful really speaks of not just so much of being around or showing up, but it means that you're actually adding value. Jesus said in Matthew 25 to those that he'd given the parable about giving the gifts to the talents to the different people, when they came back and the first 2 had multiplied what had been given to them, Jesus said, well done, good and faithful servant. You've been faithful over a few things, I'll make you ruler over many. And so he acknowledged that their faithfulness was demonstrated by the fact that they had ownership for what they were given responsibility for. And so really a great team player doesn't push off responsibility. They take ownership. Mm-hmm. If I assign to someone on our team a particular area of responsibility, what thrills me is to see them own it in such a way that it becomes fruitful, because it's fulfilling something in their life. It's not about being fruitful for me. It's really about being fruitful for them. They've owned that. And so faithfulness is about owning something in such a way that you grow it and you develop it. Available is really all about, I may not always be on the same position on the team. Wherever I'm needed, I'm available.
Yeah,
okay?
that's good, yeah.
That's really what it's like. I don't care if it's if it's in the parking lot today, that's fine. I'm available. If it's in the nursery today, I'm available. If it's on the platform leading worship, I'm available. Okay. And so it's that mindset of saying, I don't bring an agenda with me. So faithful,
Great.
Available, teachable.
So
we
good.
kind of mentioned that a moment ago. It's the idea of saying, I need to learn. I can receive feedback. I'm not going to always be defensive and defending my position and blaming other people when something doesn't go well. Because when things don't go well, it's an opportunity for me to learn and creating an environment that is a high feedback environment. And then I love team members that are enthusiastic. Think about it for a moment. Our life is pretty short, right? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a waste of your time to be engaged in something that you're not enthusiastic about. Okay?
Yeah.
And so if you're going to be on a team, be enthusiastic about it or go join another team, okay? At least get on a team somewhere where you're excited about the mission, excited about the vision, excited about being a part of things, because that's when you're going to give your best, is when you're really enthusiastic about it. So that's why I use those words in our partnership class here at church to help them to understand that this is what makes life work best in any and every realm, business, marriage, and in church.
Yeah, that's so true.
I'm thinking back, when we were a part of a great church here and multiple staff members, but I know those that are listening here, they may not have any staff members, or maybe one or two, or maybe they're serving on a team and they're leading volunteers. What are some practical ways that someone can develop their team, regardless if they're staff or they're volunteers, and just ways they can pour into them?
Yeah, I think number one is to realize that the highest form of leadership is by example. And so obviously, to create a good team, you have to have a good team culture. And so people join a culture. They don't just join a team, but they join a culture. And so there's professional athletic teams that have a culture that is known for just a winning kind of culture, a winning mindset. You think about the Patriots that win multiple times. There's a certain ethos to that, a certain culture that's there. And then other teams that are always having trouble, okay, because the culture is not there. And so I think what you want to do is set the culture in a way that we're together, we're doing this together, I care about you. If I'm your leader, assigned leader, I want to bring the best out of you. You're not working for me, we're working together. We're accomplishing this together. You're valuable to the team. And sometimes I'll just even remind our volunteers here when I have the opportunity is, we're in this together. I get to preach every weekend, but I could not do my job well if somebody didn't park cars well. Okay?
Exactly,
If somebody didn't take care of the guests coming in through the doors well, they didn't host well, we didn't have a great nursery team. We all are in this thing. It's not about the pastor or the person that's at the top. It's about all of us accomplishing things together. So I think it begins with example and with that culture of saying we've got a great mission. Let's do it together.
When you hear the term team building, a lot of times I think people, their minds automatically go to all of that responsibility being on the leader to build the team. I also think that there's responsibility on the team member side, right? It's my responsibility to build the team into the team as well. And so what are some qualities, if I'm a part of a team, that I can grow in and develop in my own life so that I can actually add value, not just to be a consumer of that, but a contributor to that team that I'm trying to help build?
That's, I think, a good comparison to juxtaposition those two words, consumer, contributor. We live in a consumption-oriented society and an entitlement-oriented society. And so oftentimes people tend to think in those terms. I'm on this team and I'm kind of consuming the resources of the team and I'm kind of entitled to it. But actually, when you get on a team, you're on the team to win something, to accomplish something, okay? And the reason that you're on a team is because there's something of value that you have to add to that whole goal of winning. In our case, in terms of church, what is it? We're winning souls for Christ. We're growing people in the kingdom of God. We're helping people to have healthier, stronger lives. And so I think the beginning point is to realize I'm not here to get, I'm here to give. And I think that's an ongoing challenge for us, because when you're on a team, if you are just there to drain the resources, you end up being the person that the team leader always has to spend time correcting or adjusting their attitude or, trying to get them back on the right path and align them to the mission. If you're spending all of your energy on just maintaining the team, then the team's not winning any points, okay? And so to be a good team member is to say, you know what, I'm going to be someone that is a blessing to this team. I'm going to add value to it. I'm going to stay aligned. I'm going to own the responsibility to help this team win.
Well, we're going to take a quick break right here, Pastor Dale. Great insight. I want to continue that question actually about how we can be better team members. Right now, let's pause for this short break. Well, as we talk about team building and development, Pastor Dale has developed a great resource called Living and Giving God's Dream. It's a book designed to train people for ministry use at your church. And if you would like a copy of that, you can purchase those on our website at upn2020.com/resources. That's upn2020.com/resources. It'll be a great guide as you look to train and equip the people that God is sending to your church. We've taken many, many volunteers from our church through that, and it's created an incredible culture among our team. So I encourage you to get that again. That's upn2020.com/resources. Now let's get back to the rest of our episode. We're back here with Pastor Dale, and we're talking about team building. And we just left off the last question really on some of the qualities that we can possess as team members that we can contribute and actually add value to the team. And one of the things that you mentioned there was obviously coming in with that mindset to be a contributor. What are some other just character qualities that I can possess as I'm coming onto a team that really stand out? You know, you've been in ministry for over 40 years and you've seen so many people in ministry. What are some of those qualities that really set people apart to make them really useful in the kingdom of God?
You know, one of the things that I deeply appreciate when I see it in a person is reliability. What I mean by that is this, that when they make a commitment to do something, that they actually fulfill the commitment. If they make a promise that, you know what, I'm going to get this report back to you in 3 days, that actually on the third day, it has risen,
Yes.
okay? It's actually on my desk, okay? And so, and if it's not going to be there, to actually have the responsibility, the communication skills to say, you know what, yeah, I really got bogged down with this. I'm still working on it. I'm going to give you another deadline here. But that shows integrity to me. You know, integrity is a vital part of having a person on a team. Reliability, it's so extremely important. Punctuality is an extremely important thing. To know that if I give a person in our church a responsibility of leadership over a volunteer team, that they're actually valuing the people that they are responsible for. That if they've scheduled a meeting with them, that the meeting will take into account the time of the volunteer's commitment and that they're prepared for the meeting when the meeting happens. And all of these things are the kind of things that show me, and more importantly, I think show God and reveal our character, that we are actually adding value to the team, that we're actually reliable, we have integrity, we do what we say we're going to do, we own this thing. It's not something that I'm always having to follow up and say, did you do this? Did you do that? I think another important thing about a good team member is that they're problem solvers. It takes no gifting to be a problem creator.
Yeah,
Everybody has that gift.
Absolutely,
Okay?
yeah.
I have that gift. You have that gift. We all have the gift of creating problems. Okay? What is rare is somebody that's a problem solver. What I need people to be, I say this in terms of business, any leadership as a team. Team members are a great asset when they identify problems, yes, but they move beyond just identifying the problem to coming up with solutions. And then also knowing what solutions they're empowered to implement and what solutions they need to check on before they implement. So it's that balance between proactivity and assumption. Sometimes people assume and try to fix things that they're not really authorized to fix, and so they may even have the right fix but have the wrong timing. But they have that good awareness, that sensitivity to say, okay, this is in my realm of responsibility. I need to be proactive about this and solve this problem, or I need to at least get some approval for moving forward with this, but I'm going to be a problem solver.
So great.
Yeah, that's excellent. You know, when it comes to developing a team, unfortunately, we wish this wasn't the case, but there are people where either they don't need to be on the team any longer, or maybe they need to be a part of another team. And maybe talk a little bit about identifying that. I know there's even seasons of grace extended and helping them, and then bringing that to a point of change. Can you speak into that a little bit?
Yeah, let me talk about that from a volunteer standpoint first, and then we'll talk about it maybe from more of a staffing standpoint. From a volunteer standpoint, in church, what we always want to try to do, I believe, is my perspective, is to have many fast on tracks to volunteering, okay? That if I want to be a part of the church, let me get on this track. Not going to take me 5 years to become a volunteer at the church. You know, I can begin engaging in ministry. And then to also make sure we have adequate exit ramps. And if you get on a superhighway and you have an entrance, but there are no exits for the next 50 miles, it's like kind of panic's going on here.
Yes.
Because this is not fitting for me, and I don't know, like I'm on the wrong road here, or what am I doing? And so we make it easy for people to exit. Exit by reason of the fact, you know what, I thought children's ministry was going to be great for me, but yeah, I actually discovered I don't like kids. Okay, well, probably it's a good idea for you not to be in children's ministry. Can we find some other place? Here's your exit ramp, okay? Or you know what, I was planning on this, but now my job has gotten much busier than it used to be, and I need to take a break for a season. Okay, here's your exit ramp. We provide good exit ramps. Sometimes you actually have to guide people to say, you know what, maybe we can help you through this exit ramp onto another entrance ramp. Maybe if children's ministry is not the right place for you, maybe we can get you over here in the choir ministry or the music ministry, whatever it might be. And so it's being aware of the fact that sometimes it is okay. Nothing wrong. If you don't, if you're on the wrong highway, for Pete's sake, find the exit, okay? So you can get on the right road that you need to be on. In a staffing situation, it's very similar, although sometimes you have to be a little more aggressive in that process of helping them discover. But here's the thing to remember, everybody's valuable.
Yes.
Everybody's valuable. So it's not that anybody's not valuable. It's just let's get you in the right place. Now, you cease to be valuable if you don't want to grow, if you don't want to be a good team member. Now, you can actually disqualify yourself. But I don't think it's our job to necessarily try to disqualify people. We try to direct people to places that they can be most fruitful.
That's great. And maybe you can speak a little bit more to this, Pastor Dill. But, when I join a team as a team member, really it is my responsibility to align myself with that culture. It's not my leader's responsibility to adjust to me. It is my responsibility to adapt and adjust to the team that I'm joining, right?
Exactly, because, we don't want any superstars on teams. The teams that win consistently in athletics are a team of team members, not of superstars, okay? And so we're not looking for a superstar. We're looking for people that say, you know what, I'm aligning with where this is going. I'm going to add my contribution, value my team members, and then also realize that I need to maintain my alignment. It's not the job of the team leader to always keep me aligned. The team leader has responsibility to cast the vision and make sure everybody still understands what the mission is and so forth. But if I can't align with the vision, I don't need to be on the team, okay?
Yeah.
And I have to make that choice to say, okay, this is the vision I want to be on. I'm going to align with it. I'm going to keep my attitudes where they need to be, and I'm going to make sure that I'm adding to this forward momentum.
Great. I know this has never happened here to you, Pastor Dill, but perhaps there's somebody listening who is having trouble with a team member. Could you speak as to how would you go about just that process that you go about with someone who perhaps isn't aligning well with the team?
I would say number one, don't mean to sound super spiritual about this, but I really believe this. I think number one, you pray. I mean, honestly, there have been a lot of folks that I've had to work with over the years that I realized they were not in the right spot, and I didn't know exactly how to communicate that to them in a way that would be most beneficial to them. And so you take it to God in prayer, and I've seen many times God work out situations with people that I couldn't have worked out, and it works out smoothly and for their benefit and for the benefit of the team as well. First thing you do is you pray. You pray for them. You pray for your own attitude. You give it a little bit of time. You don't knee-jerk react to it. But then once you know that this is not a right fit or this person needs to be on a different part of the team or whatever it might be, then you need to have some careful, kind conversations with people, but nevertheless some directive conversations that will help them to find the place where they need to be. And that's actually another whole session that we could do together talking about, these kind of conversations. Not easy, but at the end result, if people know that you're concerned about them, you want the best for them, then those conversations go a lot better.
That's great. Now, speaking to maybe the person who is responsible for a team, what do you think are some of the things that would be best that they contribute their time to in building that team? They have a team of 10, 15, maybe volunteers or whatever. How would they best spend their time in investing into that team?
Well, I think that's a big question. There's a lot of different things, but I think one of the things that I would say related to that is to make sure that your work priorities line up with the investment. Okay, I can say I'm invested in people, but at the end of the day, when I look at my schedule, does my schedule reflect that that's what I'm investing in?
Wow.
Okay.
That's great.
So I can say it. Everybody likes to say, I love people, I'm investing in people, but when you actually look at your calendar, okay, what you're invested in is your computer, okay?
Yeah.
So you're invested in all this time staring at a screen or doing things that seem to be busy but not really productive. And so your calendar needs to reflect your priorities. And that's always true in any realm of life, that what I say is important to me, I'm actually making time for, because I make time for the things that I treasure. So you take a look and be honest and say, okay, am I really setting aside this time to invest in people? And then what does that look like? It might represent classes that you're teaching, one-on-one sessions you're having with people, coaching processes, notes that you send to them. All these kinds of things are valuable.
I'm thinking back to maybe whenever the church first started, if you can reflect on the early years and planning a church and really building a team from scratch. Maybe talk a little bit about that. Like, what is it like to build a team? Maybe someone, whether they are planning a church or maybe they're starting a ministry or some type of organization. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, just to mention it briefly, I think one of the things that we make a mistake in doing is that we sometimes are too quick about thinking related to titles to give people, okay? And so I think especially early on, one of the things that we tried to emphasize here is that we're not about titles. Let's just all be a part of a team, and let's not worry about what our titles are. Let's worry about the mission God has given us. And so I think you take time with people, and because it takes time to learn somebody's character, it takes time to learn somebody's giftings, it takes time to see where they are in terms of their commitment to the vision, to the mission that you have. And so you don't need to be in a hurry. God's never in a hurry. And you love on people, nurture them, and take some time, and don't worry about the titles, and just see who sticks and who's a part of the team with you. They will arise, I promise you. They will show themselves, good or bad. You'll know one way or the other they're a part of the team or they're not.
That's good.
Yes, thank you, Pastor Dale. Such great wisdom and insight on team building and development. And thank you to all those joining us by podcast today on the Church Builder Podcast. You're not going to want to miss our next episode. We'll be talking about management and leadership. And Pastor Dale is going to share his insight on management and leadership and how to use those to build the church. So make sure and join us on the next episode. Until then, we'll see you next time.